Hey there, it's your HR Big Sister, and I'm here to share 5 different insights that have come out just this month about mental health at work. As a reminder, I call myself your HR Big Sister because 1, I'm friendly and love to help people. 2, been in HR very long time. And 3, I am Big Sister to a whole plethora of people in this world. And so come on in, the water's fine. I can boss you around just as much as I can my younger siblings. My company focuses on building mental health at work and supporting building skills for leaders and building psychological health and safety. This is my company, Verdant Consulting. I started it after 20 years as an HR executive. So let's get started and dive in. Okay, coming in at number 5 is this report on a new index that will be coming out in early 2023, but pay attention to who is sponsoring this. Companies like Aon, Bank of America, the URAC, these are not new age groups. These are big companies focused on business and finance. This new index will help us assess whether or not there are mental health risks at work, according to the article. So this is something to keep an eye out for as we head into 2023. Okay, number 2 is this report that is going to come out in the December issue, but it's already out in preventative medicine reports. This looked at the stress and anxiety for auto workers that was induced at the workplace and outside of the home. But look at this in the middle. It says, alternatively, positive perceptions of safety, climate, and culture in the workplace were associated with lower odds of both depressive and anxiety symptoms. This is not the only study to show something like this. This is just one of them. And speaking of studies, coming in at number 3 is this study out of the Netherlands. This looks at adults between the ages of 16 to 35 and shows that over 50% of that population is anxious and depressed about the inflation rate and the housing crisis. This probably influences us in the US as well. Coming in at number 2 is this mental health promotion and suicide prevention in the workplace policy and response recommendations. This white paper was put together by the Workplace Suicide Prevention Council, and it's designed specifically for HR and legal professionals in the workplace. And it focuses on suicide prevention within work. The main focus is on dispelling any kind of misconceptions and trying to decrease fear when it comes to this topic, which is pretty serious and kind of scary. In fact, they hit that right on the head out of the gate by listing top 12 fears. How many? 15 fears that employers, HR professionals, and legal professionals may have about this topic. They also have this great chart, which I really like, about moving to a more psychologically safe workplace. I think it's really helpful. And it calls out specific things like engagement with employees so they know where to go if they need help, introducing these concepts to supervisors and making sure that there's strong connection with supervisors, and also equipping managers and teams with ways to respond if they have a concern. Also throughout the white paper, they have these policy and practice pro tips. I like this one here around creating a caring culture. I want to point out a few things on here actually. I like that it talks about training managers on having better skills around mental health. This is something that actually we focus on, but advanced skills and trainings for managers, not just on what to do for their teams. I also like the bullet that talks about them modeling mental health self-care. As we know from the research, there are a ton of stressors that specifically impact leaders. We don't often equip them with the skills to navigate those or even awareness that they may exist. So having this listed here is pretty good to see. And of course, they're hitting on one of my favorites, which is addressing those psychosocial hazards. You may recall psychosocial hazards are the known processes, structures, and causes of burnout and undue stress that exist within the workplace. These are all well documented. I've spoken about them a couple times before. Things like poor communication, not having the resources and tools you need, workload, lack of role clarity, all of those can accelerate burnout and are considered to be hazards within the workplace. And while I think this is a fantastic resource, the reason why it's not number one is because number one is pretty amazing. Here it comes. I mean, you wouldn't guess that looking at an insurance company would be my number one selection for this month, but here it is, and it is good. You can see this comes from Mercer and Marsh. It comes from the insurance and risk assessment in looking at people risks in the business. Oh my goodness, so many good things in here. I mean, they just kick it out of the park right here by just calling out mental health issues as being a blind spot for many organizations. So they just come after businesses for basically putting their head in the sand. Risk blind spot. Poor mental health remains the number one cause of absence and is integral to other top 10 risks, including catastrophic personal events and the changing nature of work. However, HR risk professionals ranked 19 other risks ahead of mental health and 21 risks ahead of workforce exhaustion. They're not playing. Here's an example of where they're not playing. Here's a chart where they show the continuum of mental health. Notice it goes from, yeah, we should care about the people who are having mental health issues, but come on, people, you need to do more than that. You need to build resiliency within your organization. This is how you address the risk of mental health in the workplace. They have this iceberg chart, like they're getting creative with their chart saying, hello, knock, knock, knock. Your people are struggling and it is making your business suffer. And here's what they're reacting to. Of the people they interviewed, the risk professionals, HR professionals, when they asked them what they were the most concerned about, what was the highest likelihood of happening, right? And then the other axis is the severity of impact. They put workplace exhaustion all the way down here, as well as mental health. Are you kidding? They are not having it. In fact, if you look at this globally, the only country to list workplace exhaustion and mental health as in their top 10, it's Canada. Canada's kicking our butt, of course. That sums us up for this month. Hopefully this is helpful for you to start the conversation at your work.